So that makes 7.
We have a quorum.
All right.
All right, let's go. Let's get started, and we may have to join us.
Good morning, everyone. Let's get this rocking and rolling. This is the Regional Wastewater Reclamation Advisory Committee meeting of May 25, 2023. Please mute your microphones. This will help ensure we do not have any feedback or other background noises to interfere with the speaker. If a committee member would like to ask a question, please use the raise your hand feature. Please remember to lower your hand once your question has been addressed. When you are ready to speak, please unmute your microphone. This is especially important during votes. Do not forget to mute yourself when finished. As a reminder, audience members are only permitted to speak during the call to the audience unless called upon by the committee. This meeting is being recorded to satisfy open meeting law requirements. Do we, for call to order, do we have a quorum? And roll call, please.
All right. Asia Philbin.
Here.
Claire Zucker. Craig Canizaro. Matt Mathewson.
Here.
Scott Colt.
Here.
Scott Oldendorf.
Here.
And Steve Foley.
Here.
We have 7 members in attendance. We have quorum.
Very good. Thank you very much. Let's all rise for Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next is going to be call to the audience. Do we have anybody having any comments for call to the audience? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the next item. That is the safety share. I'll just put out there, today is a lovely day for the beginning of Memorial Weekend, so please be safe out there. Extra traffic, extra travel, and all that other stuff. And of course, welcome to Tucson. Don't forget to carry water wherever you go. Can we go to our historian? I've been gone too long. Do you have anything, sir, for us for safety share?
Yeah, I'm going to just add one because now that I'm here on site, this is a great one for people. You know, you get complacent and get used to things the way they are, and you sometimes overlook that something's not right from a safety perspective. And this morning, driving into the water campus, when you come in, just before you get to the gate to turn into the parking lot, there's actually 2 lanes. You know, the right one is supposed to be a right turn only, and the center lane is supposed to be you can turn right into the parking lot through the gate, or you can go straight, which will take you on to the Agua Nueva facility a little further on down. They used to have the arrows indicating straight and a turn, and you know what they did, but you know when you drive on the roads long enough, the paint will wear off. So next, that would be my request, if you could put in a work order to get the proper identification out there so people know what the lanes are for, because not everybody's been here or works here, and so you get somebody else, you never know. So, but that goes for anywhere at your, you know, around your home or your place of work or wherever. You notice something that, you know, you take for granted, you know, not everybody is familiar with where you're at as yourself. So just keep other people in mind when you're looking around. That's it.
Thank you, Jackson. Anybody else have anything for safety share? I'll just add, welcome to construction for the next couple years. Over here near the water campus, we're having construction being done over here by the highways and the on and off ramps. So please be careful. Okay, next on the agenda is the approval of minutes. Hope everyone's had an opportunity to scan through their minutes of April the 27th, 2023. Are there any corrections, amendments? Anything? Anybody? Okay, hearing no corrections or adjustments, may I have a motion to approve the minutes of April 27th?
I move we approve the minutes of April 27th.
And do I have a second?
This is Matt. I'll second.
Okay, very good. Thank you, gentlemen. All in favor, say aye or yes. Aye.
Aye.
Any nays or noes? Very good. That so passes. Thank you, Claire, for running that last month. Okay, next on the agenda is the director's update. Our Jackson Jenkins, he has updates for us.
Yeah, just a few little comments. First one, unfortunately, Armando is not on the phone call or on the Teams meeting right now. But, I had mentioned last month that we've made a big push to get as many of our employees trained on first aid and CPR and the AED machine. And that's going well for us. But Armando asked if he could, come to one of our trainings, and just the way we're doing them and how few people we can get into those because of the dummies we have and, that they practice on. We preferred not to do it that way. And, because we just really don't have enough time to train more than we're already trying to squeeze in. But we did just do a quick survey of what's out there for options for people to get certified or go to training if they're interested. And Jeanette included that in your package. So if anybody's looking for similar or such training, there are a lot of places that do it, and they're on the list that we sent you, and hopefully that will help you out. And that was really for Armando, but any of you that are interested, that's the information we're sharing. That was one item. Number two, I just, the county is embarked on the very large compensation study for revisiting our competitive, market competitiveness for wages and salaries, and just looking at a whole holistic revamp of the compensation system and the classifications and all that. And so that is well on its way. There's been a first draft that's been put out there for the first screening by the respective departments or appointing authorities to try and clean up some of the things that are inherent when you're dealing with a organization of about 7,000 people. So that has all been, the deadline has come and gone. So they've been returned back to HR for another cleanup pass. And basically, the key focus is here between now and the coming fiscal year, couple months from now, it's to get everybody in the current county now converted to the new system that we're going to be implementing. So, one of the interesting things is the county currently has over 100 pay grades, what people make, and it's like I said, it's over 100. The new system is only going to have 26 grades. So everybody's going to fit in somewhere from 1 to 26. And then going through and aligning titles, there's a menu list of titles to try and cover the 7,000 positions in the county. And so there's a lot of different titles, as you might expect, due to the diverse types of work that we do. So that was part of the exercise. And then just trying to align each respective department, structure and hierarchy. And then a bigger issue, how that makes sure it aligns with others within the county. So phase one is to get everybody from their current system of titles and grades to the new system of titles and grades. And of course, many titles will stay the same, but quite a few of them are also changing. And once they put everybody into their new title and new grade, if their current compensation is not within, up to at least the minimum or entry level of this new grade, they will be adjusted, going into the new fiscal year. But phase 2, which will be worked on during next fiscal year, is where we'll look at all of the incumbents in their new grades. What is the appropriate placement in the 0 entry level to the 100% maximum in the pay scale? So I think that one's going to be a bigger effort where, the criteria that's laid out to follow, which has not been, put out there yet. But once it is, the county will go through that exercise and determine the financial impact to the county in doing so, and make sure that there's a strategic and appropriate methodology to transition into that phase 2. So, still a lot of work to do. And, it's very important to us because, one of my other updates is still, staffing is still a challenge for us. I've mentioned this many times before. I'm really tired of eating retirement cake, and we just keep, we got some more long time institutional knowledge, wonderful folks, unfortunately have to leave. It's retirement time and they have other plans. As much as they like doing what they're doing and being here, it's time to chart new courses for them. So, we're really, always playing that, every year I keep bringing this up. We used to have 80 positions, we're a department of approximately 400 employees, and every year we were filling around 80 positions. Now, last year was 101 positions we filled, so 25%. Of course, some of them are promotions, so it's not as steep a learning curve, but half of them are people from outside of the department anyway, and so there's a bigger learning curve. And this year we're on pace to beat the 101. So that's just I call that all turnover, and that's the dynamics along with attendance, absenteeism, all these things. It's a very dynamic situation to do the things that we do. And I'm just amazed that we're able to keep our head above water like we do. So anyway, that's all kind of plays in together. But the compensation study, the reason I brought it up, because hopefully that will help us in the marketplace, attracting and maintaining and keeping good people here. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, in the case of wastewater, you have the ability to generate revenue, so hopefully you can deal with the compensation changes. But has the county talked about how they're going to be doing this countywide? How they're going to find the additional funds?
Yeah. Well, and there's some already, Jan Lesher has put out some memos that are on the county webpage and stuff. But just recently, for some preparation for what we're doing now in phase 1, the county swept, I don't know if swept is the right term, but I just, whatever comes in my mouth, you guys have to live with, unfortunately. And so do I, unfortunately, even worse. But any position in the county that was 365 days vacant or longer was swept. So we had 2 positions, not that we wanted to give them up, but we had 2 positions swept from that were 365 days or more in the vacancy. And so that was the savings overall for the county. You're carrying them in your budgets, but if you're not filling them or can't fill them, it doesn't, it's kind of one of the efforts that was done. Then also, because historically we haven't, nor others in the county have budgeted for vacancy savings, and you always have vacancy savings. We were running as high as a 10% vacancy rate. I think we're down to maybe an 8% right now, somewhere in that range. They are allowing 2/12 or 2 months of a vacancy savings to again help offset some of these costs that will be incurred. But they're looking at those type of things. But in a discussion I did have with county administration, there's other ways to create revenue besides rates, because we've been very successful at keeping our rates where they've been now for 6+ years. And next year we're not proposing a rate increase. But for instance, the department has accrued a tremendous amount of water credits, effluent storage credits, that there's a tremendous market, as you would be aware, that we've kind of been holding on to them, especially if the county ultimately ever decides to be in the water business. But right now they're just in a bank account, not doing a lot of good. But if we wanted to sell them, they would very handily and very easily cover, what I think will be the needs. So we'll see what options and flexibilities are given, but we'll be looking at those type of things as phase 2, gets further along. Let's see, the other thing I have is the budget. The Board of Supervisors here earlier approved the ceiling or the maximum for the county's budget. So the budget is semi or partly approved for a maximum amount. And I think it's coming up here next month. They'll make the hopefully vote to approve the final budget. But it's interesting this year. In past years, we've actually presented, all the department directors and appointing authorities have presented their budget request at, I think it's typically 2 days of budget hearings in front of the board. But this year, they're not asking us to do that. So they're reviewing and getting the information in different ways with finance. And I like it. I don't have to go sing and dance up there, but we'll see how things go. But we did, have an approximate 5% increase in our budget, almost exclusively for inflationary reasons. And, we look forward to hoping that it gets approved, and onward we go, continuing to do the things that we do. And with that, I'll wait till we get to these other items and I'll bring up some other comments. So that's all I got, unless there's any questions or anything.
Jackson, I just had one question. I think you touched on the budget was approved for the maximum amount. If federal, the debt ceiling hits an impasse, which is supposed to affect everybody in America, are we in a good financial position to weather any storms that may be caused from that?
Well, my crystal
With the
ball
debt ceiling?
can't see everything out there that, could and how it might be impacted, but the department financially is in very good shape. We have emergency reserve accounts and we put money away for, months of operation and stuff. So we're okay from a financial perspective, but, I'm not sure how else I could answer that, Scott.
Does anybody else have any questions for Jackson?
Steve?
Yes, Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering how we're doing with absenteeism now.
Yeah, so that's another one of our favorite key performance indicators. As we've been tracking that value for a long time. And when we say absenteeism, it's anybody that was scheduled, would normally be scheduled to work, whether they took vacation, sick, bereavement, military, any of the leaves. And of course, if they just don't show up, which amazingly, some people just don't show up, and we call that without pay. They're not on an approved leave, but they just didn't come in. And when we put all those into a bucket, we used to run amazingly consistent at around a 10% vacancy rate to cover all those things. And then Proposition 206 came into place a few years ago, which kind of changed how sick leave was looked at. And basically, it allowed a lot more liberty or freedom to take sick leave. And we saw an uptick on that portion of leave. But in general, then we hit COVID. And for whatever reason, from being at 10%, we now find ourselves typically at 13 or just over 13%, which is about a 30% increase in absenteeism. And it doesn't sound like much, but it's a lot to deal with. So we're at 13% plus or minus, typically a little plus right now.
So the end of COVID really hasn't helped that.
Nope, we still see the 13%, and we're hoping it will head back closer to the 10 or even a 12 or 11. But right now it is what it is, and it's been holding around 13% for a couple of years now.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Anybody else have a question for Jackson? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, Jackson, for that update. Always appreciated. Next is the nominating committee appointed.
Let me just, well,
Yes.
I'll let you go ahead first, Scott, and I'll make a comment.
Oh, that's right. Jump in there, please.
Well, I just, we received a nomination. And so I was, obviously you need a committee, but we're telling whoever that committee is that Claire, somebody nominated Claire Zucker to be the chairman for next year, for the next tour.
Oh, okay.
So just passing it on.
Okay, very good. And when is that vote for again in the year? Next month? Okay.
And Armando has historically over the years volunteered to be on the nominating committee, I think, so he makes sure nobody nominates him. But he's not on the call, so I don't know if somebody is willing to receive nominations and bring that up for next month's vote. But it would be good to have a person in the nominating committee.
Yeah, this is Matt. I'll nominate Armando Membria as chairman of the nominating committee for this year.
All right.
That'll teach him.
And he told us he would be here too, so I
Yes, it
agree.
did.
So do we have a nomination committee formed? Is Armando still going to do it?
Now, if he's not here, you don't.
Okay. Okay, and when, Claire, you're great, but I'll still continue to throw my hat in the ring too.
We're up to 3. We got Claire and Scott and Armando, so
All right.
we'll see what wonderful treats the 3 of them bring in the competition for next month.
Sounds fair. Okay, very good. Okay, we're closed on that. No other questions. The next item is going to be the financial subcommittee with Matt Matheson. Matt, do you have anything for us today?
No, the committee has not met since our last meeting, so negative report from that standpoint, but we are still, I think, looking for a 5th member in the subcommittee, unless we've gotten a volunteer nomination in the last month that I'm not aware of. And again, I'll just urge committee members who are not on either of the 3 committees, the subcommittees or committees that exist. We'd sure like to have you on ours.
Hey, Matt, that was one I was saving for when you were going to bring that up. I'm glad we rehearsed this before the meeting. But Claire Zucker did also volunteer to be your 5th wheel, and she is ready to join your fantastic team.
Wonderful. Thanks, Claire.
Okay, any other questions for Matt on finance subcommittee? Okay, hearing none. Next, we'll go over to the CIP subcommittee with Asia. Asia, do you have anything for us?
Thanks, Scott. No, I don't have a report or anything from the subcommittee, which has not met since last time. But similarly, we are looking for a 5th wheel for our committee. So I don't know if there have been any volunteers for CIP subcommittee.
Yeah, and
Jackson or Jeanette.
yeah, coincidentally, we have another 5th wheel volunteer, Greg Canizaro, one of the newest members, has graciously offered to be on the CIP subcommittee.
Fantastic. Welcome, Craig. And we will be scheduling a meeting pretty soon. So, or, I think June, July timeframe is when we'll be meeting. So Jeanette will look for your help with that. And that's all I have.
Very good. Any other questions for Asia? Okay, seeing none, we'll jump over to the fiscal year 22-23 expense and revenue summary with Isai. Isai, it's all yours, sir.
Thanks, sir. I'll share my screen and can definitely go at it. Excellent. I hope everyone can see my screen. So this is a report as a period 10 for wastewater. We have our expenses. Our total O&M expenses up to period 10 are $73.2 million. Our projection for the remainder of the year is $91.4 million, coming in at right on budget. Our total O&M expenses, including contra, depreciation, and debt services. Our budget is $170.9 million. Expenses so far $136 million, and our projection is $171.8 million, with a slight variation of $870,000. We scroll down to our revenue. Our adopted budget is $193.6 million. So far, we have 156.4, and we're projected to be 194.5. We have a positive variance of 192.4, $892,453. So to the good. So overall, looks like it's gonna be a great year. Any questions?
Isaid, I might just, it's exciting to point out we argued and discussed early at the beginning of the year when we were setting the budget and the revenues, and we talked about our biogas revenue, and we did up it to $2 million. Although we were more optimistic than that, everybody wanted to remain conservative, but you can see we're at 3.5 and $3.5 million, well over the $2 million. So that biogas is working out very well for us, and I just wanted to draw your attention down there. So thanks.
Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's it. Thanks, everyone.
Any other questions for Isaid? Thank you, Isaid. Looks like you did a great job. No more questions. Okay.
Excellent. Thanks, everyone.
Excuse me. Allison is not with us today, so we're going to skip over
No,
that.
I don't know. I think maybe Andrew's on the call. I don't know if he's willing to, or if he was there, or if he could give us an update, but he might be able to do that.
That'd be
Andrew, are you
great,
able to do that?
Hi, everybody. Not really. I wasn't prepared to give that today. What I could do is just give kind of a brief overview of some issues, or just, status of the department, if that's okay.
I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but I just was filling ornery as usual.
Sure. No problem, Jackson. So yeah, real quick, just some overviews of Tucson Water and some of the information that was conveyed at the last meeting. We recently got approval on the rates, so that's moving forward with the rate increase. We have completed our negotiations with the federal government in terms of system conservation. You may have seen some media attention actually in the last day or so, since we had the signing event with the Bureau and Metro Water and CAWCD yesterday, where Tucson is committing to 50,000 acre feet of compensated system conservation this year, with the potential additional 30,000 acre feet per year in 2025 and 2026. Those amounts are part of what the federal government has been talking about, and the 3 lower basin states have been talking about vis-a-vis the 3 million acre feet over 3 years of conservation that the lower basin states are offering as part of what needs to be done to address a shortage in the Colorado River basin. We continue to have vacancies, etc., not dissimilar to the Pima County, and so we continue to try to plug away at filling those vacancies. We do have something in front of mayor and council, some compensation adjustments pretty much across the board, and hopefully that will that will help us. And then just in particular, the key item that was on the CWAC agenda at the last meeting was a presentation by Wally Wilson from Metro Water. Wally gave an update on the basin study that is going on across, again, looking at the entire basin in our region. And he talked quite at length and had some great data and projections related to climate change and other issues that, will be impacting or could impact our regional water supply, again, looking over decades, not just year to year. So very helpful, provided a lot of food for thought. And of course, we know Wally well. He's formerly with Tucson Water, so always appreciate seeing him back at the Tucson Water building with us. And I'm sure he would make his information available to anyone who's interested. So that's just a quick overview of some of the key things going on at Tucson Water and what happened at the last CWAC meeting. And if I can, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew. Does anybody have any additional questions for Andrew on CWAC? Okay, seeing none, we'll go to the next item. That's for the future agenda items. Does anybody have any thing to put on the future agenda?
Elections
Okay.
and consuming of the treats that you're all bringing.
Okay, that's the most important part. The people have to attend. So I guess we're having the election and the nomination committee is going to be taking that and putting it out there.
Yeah, and you're welcome to provide, you can call Jeanette or myself, email us. If you have nominations, we'll take them directly too.
Okay, very good. So hopefully everybody can go out there and find people to nominate. Very good. So that's for next month. Any additional items for the future agenda? Okay, seeing none. Call to the audience. Does anybody have anything for call to the audience? Okay, seeing none. I think we just broke a record of having the shortest meeting so far ever. That's great. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I move we adjourn the meeting.
Second. We have a second. Okay, I guess we're going to stay here for a while.
Well, the record isn't broke anymore. We just messed up by waiting too long for the second.
Okay, Craig did second. Okay, very good. Okay, all in favor of adjourning the meeting, say aye or yes. Aye.
Aye.
Any nays or noes? Any abstains? Okay, so passes. We just broke the record. Shortest meeting ever.
All right, have a great day. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well, that was quick. Yeah.